Another day, another episode. Have you ever experienced cutting your trip short due to an emergency, especially if it's your fur baby? Today, Donnie will be sharing her experience. Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Amber, your official veterinarian at Vital Pet Life.
And hi everyone, this is Donnie, your chief treat lady. So we're here to talk about pets, pet nutrition and wellness, anything that can help our fur children live a longer, vibrant, and happier lives.
All right.
Yeah. Welcome to Vital Pet Life podcast.
So let's get started. Donnie, would you mind sharing your story about why you had to rush back from your trip for your fur baby, Jean Martin?
Yeah, we have to cut our trip really short because the little guy ended up eating grapes from the table. And
Oh no.
I know, and I think he ate too much, way more for his weight, that we were really stressed out and we're like, oh my God, we have to go home. And, we just adopted him and because he was hospitalized. Luckily, we were quick enough to respond to what happened. And, we took him to the emergency vet. We were able to decide let him stay in for two days to again
Oh wow.
do like the whole cleansing of his system with the
Yeah.
grapes, if I want to say that, and then really making sure that he is doing well, just basically making sure that his stats is well checked. And while he's on the vet, literally that's the only thing they did: cleansing, giving him water. I mean, I don't know what it is. Yeah,
Yep. Fluids. Yep.
yeah, and then making him pee. But again, it's kind of stressful knowing all those stuff. I know that it's a toxic food for dogs and animals, but unfortunately the caretaker, they have no idea. Like, some people doesn't really know anything about the different kinds of fruit. It may be good for us, but a little bit toxic for animals, especially dogs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we should be talking about this. Like, it'd be like when I learned, what, you didn't know? But yeah, we have to talk about all this human fruit and food that can't be ingested by our dogs. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's important to educate yourself and know what's okay and what's not.
yes. Previously, we had an episode in which we talk about human food that our dogs could eat under the podcast. Is your dog missing out on this delicious human food or foods? But with what happened for my dog, Martin, I know most of you guys are curious to know which kind of fruits that will be toxic to our dogs or animals, and the dogs that we can give them daily or even as a treat. So let's dig in. Yeah, so again, why are grapes toxic to dogs? What if they have eaten a few? When we talk to the emergency vet, it still boggles them. Like, a dog that might be bigger of a size than Martin can eat like one and it just affects them. And just like him,
Yeah.
he's like 20 pounds and he ate I think 8 grapes. He was fine. But we just didn't know. But luckily, we reacted right away. So, because we just didn't want to
Yeah.
wait. But again, they see all these issues of the animal being taken to emergency like after a week or while waiting.
Yeah.
So what is it really in the grapes that's toxic to dogs?
So we actually don't know. That's the weird thing is that we're not sure exactly what in grapes is toxic for dogs.
Is it the tannins, you think? Or I'm not.
I mean, lots of fruits and vegetables have tannins, so I think it's something that we just need to research more, honestly. And the weird thing is with grapes, we call the reaction idiosyncratic, and that's just a fancy word for it doesn't affect everybody the same way. So, like you said, some dogs can eat grapes their whole lives and never have a problem, and other dogs can eat just a couple and go into kidney failure.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I've met some people who are like, oh, my dog ate grapes all the time. I didn't even know they were toxic and it never hurt him. And so that's kind of the scary thing is you don't know who's going to be susceptible to it. We don't know the type of toxin. We don't know exactly what makes them toxic.
Mm.
And so, if you suspect that your dog has gotten grapes or raisins for that matter, dried grapes, then you want to take them into the emergency clinic. I actually, when my kids were young and I had a little Pekingese named Susie,
Mhm.
I thought that she had eaten a bowl of grapes or a bowl of raisins that my kids were eating.
Oh,
And I took her to the emergency clinic because you don't want to wait on
yeah,
that. Once it's in their system, it's already starting to do damage to
yeah.
their kidneys. So I did rush her right into the emergency vet, and I actually tried to induce vomiting myself at home, and she wouldn't vomit. So I took her into the emergency clinic. And they made her vomit. And luckily, she hadn't eaten any raisins.
Oh,
Better to be safe than sorry.
yeah.
It's
I
not
mean,
something you want to wait on.
what happened to us too? Because they were not sure, because they know that there were grapes in the table, because they have to
Mm-hmm.
go somewhere, and they realized, oh, it's no longer there, so maybe I ate it. I'm not really sure, but luckily we have a video to really check that
Oh,
he
wow.
did stole it from the table. And
Mm-hmm.
it was wild. Yeah, we have to rush him in. And they did try, because we called poison control. Apparently, the vet
Yeah.
won't take you in unless you call poison control first. So when we were
Hmm.
poison control, they were like, okay, can you please try to give him the solution?
Is it the hydrogen
Yeah,
peroxide?
hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm blanking out
Yeah.
for him to puke. He did puke, but it was too late. Like, it's already in the system. So I'm like, he should go to the emergency. So
Yep.
luckily, we live close by an emergency vet, and he was taken in, and it took 2 days. We were monitoring his stats, and luckily he pulled through it. Nothing too crazy, other than being given a lot of fluids to really cleanse his system. We're
Yeah.
good. But again, it's such a scary experience, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone, especially when you're
Yeah.
traveling like farther.
Yeah. When you're
God,
all the way across the
oh my
country.
goodness. So,
Yeah.
it was hard. Yeah, but I've been feeding them. I mean, this guy's like Tuxedo and Martin, like they love blueberries. And especially now it's summertime, I've been giving them watermelon, and apparently they like dragon fruit too. But like, I gave them a little bit, but I'm like, 'cause I just want to see how their stomach reacts. And I'm like, oh, they like it. And it seems like they had good poop. But yeah, so I think, what are the fruits that are good for dogs, like other than the two things that I mentioned, which I mean three,
Yeah.
and which are
So,
bad.
yeah. So berries are good. They have a lot of antioxidants in them.
Yeah.
Um, so blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, those are all fine for dogs. You can give bananas, you can give apples, watermelon, cantaloupe.
Mm.
All of those are fine for
Mm-hmm.
dogs. I would always
Yeah.
caution whenever we're giving, like you said, start out with a little
Yeah.
piece, make sure it doesn't disagree with their bellies.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just have to be careful with any kind of
Yeah.
treats. We're already feeding their diet. And if we're giving extra treats, even a healthy snack like a fruit, on top of that, we're adding calories to their diet too. So we just need to make sure not to overdo it.
Yeah. And which one are bad? I mean, other than grapes, of course.
Yeah. So we've already talked about grapes and raisins, avocados and grapefruit
Oh.
and cherries.
Oh, yeah. Because of
So
the pit, right? Or
yeah, yeah. So the meat of the cherry is not actually toxic, but stems and leaves and the pits all contain cyanide.
oh my,
Yeah, especially if they crunch the
oh
seeds,
good.
then they're getting cyanide,
She's
which is very toxic. And
God, I
so,
didn't even know that.
um,
Kyle, no more, no more cherries. No more cherries.
yeah,
This house is no grape and cherry house.
yeah. And I mean, the cherry pits are pretty small, but in a really small dog, it's possible that it could cause an intestinal obstruction. So, same thing. So, one thing I forgot to mention is like peaches and apricots. The fruit is okay, but obviously, we don't want them eating the pits and getting an obstruction.
Yeah. Well, how often should we feed the dog? I mean, now it's summertime, and it's been really like hot here in LA.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been giving them a treat. Like I'm like, oh, watermelon time, like after a walk or poo time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I give them maybe like 2 or 3 slices and then just mash it and then. But how do you really often feed them with fruits? Will it be something
Uh,
that you can incorporate like in their diet? I do try with blueberries. I give
mhm.
that to them like every day if I can, if I have fresh berries.
Yeah, so I don't see a problem with giving a couple of little pieces, 2 or 3 pieces a day, as long as they're, are monitoring their poops and making sure that it's not upsetting their GI system and that they're not gaining weight.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of, a couple of really good things that I recommend as treats that are on the healthier side, besides fruits, are ice
Yeah.
cubes, especially on these really hot days. And of course, water doesn't add any calories to their
Mm-hmm.
diet. My dog loved ice cubes. I would throw them in the air and he would catch them in his mouth and crunch them up. And then, these aren't fruits, but carrots and green beans, you can freeze them.
Mm-hmm.
So they last a little bit longer and they just kind of help to cool them down.
Yeah, crunchy too when they eat.
Yeah,
Oh,
crunchy.
so here,
Yeah.
like talking about hydration too, like I saw, I mean, I'm not even sure a cow was, are you sure? Because I saw it on TikTok that, oh, there's a vet recommended like chamomile tea, but you have to cool it down and you can offer it to the dog for hydration and calming.
Oh,
Yeah, but
interesting.
I'm not sure. But I read that, I mean, it has a lot of properties, but it could be toxic to them too. So I'm like, oh, I don't know. But because I tried giving them one because I do have a chamomile tea, and I tasted it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, there's no taste. And I offered it to Tuxedo and Martin, and they like it, and but not a lot because I have to mix it with more water, like really, because
Yeah.
I don't really know. But yeah, I have no idea. Like maybe you can check it out. You're like,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up too, because honestly, I've never heard of that. I've never thought about giving chamomile to dogs.
yeah, but because it's toxic, if
So
it's like a flower. Like I read
yeah.
somewhere. But if it's a tea, but I also thought about like I don't really know unless it's harvested or if there's like insecticides. That was the only thing I read, and I'm like, ooh,
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I tried giving it to them, and I'm like, it's kind of refreshing because I also drank it myself. I'm like, you guys want to try? Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
gave it to them, and I was like, okay, as long as they're still peeing, and I'm like, they're fine, but I had to read, and I'm like, let me check because I can't really find anything. But yeah, I was like, oh, maybe I'm gonna ask Dr. Amber.
Yeah. We might have to look that one up and get back to our audience
Yeah,
because I'm really
I
not
hope you
sure off
can
the
follow
top of my
me
head.
yet, guys. But yeah, let's wait for Dr. Amber to to confirm because I just tried it, and who knows with TikTok now since nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, I just got retargeted or because I'm looking at all those like things that you give to your dogs or animals. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Other than like having vitamins as benefit, what else do you think is the benefit of the fruit giving to dogs?
Yeah, so fruits are packed with vitamins and minerals, antioxidants, and fiber.
Mhm.
So all of that makes fruits good for
Well,
dogs.
whatever, the if it's good for us, it must be good for them too. Yeah, so another question is kind of funny. What if my dog really likes fruit? Is this normal? Of course it's normal. I think
Yeah.
I feel it may it's even a dog tuxedo who's very picky, it's still normal. Like it really depends on their taste, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and dogs are omnivores, so
What's-
they eat meat, they eat fats, they eat fruits and grains
They
and
used to be like
grass and all kinds of stuff.
yeah, and
So,
just think about it. Like they used to be in the wild, and what were they eating before? Right? So it's their system, right? Okay. Another question: Could all dog breeds eat fruits, or a certain dog breed that should avoid eating it? Again, I think it's
yeah, there's not really a certain dog breed that shouldn't eat fruits. I would say as long as they're healthy, they're at a normal weight, it's fine. If there's some kind of pre-existing condition or they're on a special diet, a prescription diet, then obviously we don't want to be giving anything but that diet. And so that would be the only exceptions, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Amber. So I think my takeaway with my experience is that once you know that the dog ingested something, or even if you think that, as what Dr. Amber said, she thought that, her dog was able to eat raisins, like always go with, I mean, again, with cautious, bring them to the vet or have, poison control, like check it out, like let them puke if you can. So yeah.
Yes.
And always remember that grapes, cherries, avocado is toxic for them. I mean, those things that I
Yes.
will always remember. All right. Well, thank you, dear listeners. Don't forget to follow our channel for more talks about pets, tips, advice, and fun stuff.
Happiness, vibrance, and longevity for our fur babies and our planet.
This is Donnie, your chief treat lady at Vital Pet Life.
And this is Dr. Amber, your official veterinarian at Vital Pet Life. Have a paw-tastic day until next time.
This house is no grape and cherry house.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay, I'm ready.